Now we'll move to the other grade, which is from 4th to 6th grade. And I'm going a little bit specific so that we know how it transitions from class to class and also grades to grade. The practice which we are going to do right now is called the five senses activity. And what we need to do out here is I'll just share some prompts out here. And as I can see that a lot of people out here have kept their audio off. We can keep doing that, and we'll be just sharing some prompts. And as I'm sharing the prompts, we just have to respond to those prompts without unmuting ourselves. So we need to be on mute as we are doing this activity. Yeah. As I'm just assuming that we are in a position where we can at least look around. So we'll start. We have to now notice five things which we can see in our wherever we are sitting. So five things we have to just say it out loud. So say for example, I I see a bottle, I see a table. So we'll take 30 to 40 seconds to just name five things. And this can happen on our own. So we can keep ourselves on mute and we can just say it out loud. If we don't want to say it out loud wherever we are sitting, we can just count it in our head that I saw clothes, I saw a cushion, I saw a bottle. So we'll just take 10 to 20 seconds to do this. All right, we go to the next prompt. Now we have to name four voices which we can hear right now. Okay, and those four voices, one voice you can say that Pranali's voice, and then if there is like someone typing on the keyboard, then that is some voice. There are students, children playing outside. That is the voice which we can share. So just naming four voices which you can hear in your surroundings, keeping our attention to only the voices which we can hear. If you're getting more than four, then it's good. If we are done with four, then we'll go to the next prompt. Now we go to the third sensations you can feel in your body. It could be like touch you're feeling. So it could be the ground on which you're sitting. It could be the bed sheet you're touching, or the clothes you're wearing, the touch of that. So anything which you're like touching right now, you just have to name that. The four sensations, four touch you're actually feeling right now on your body, you just have to name that. And if you're not able to like come up to the list of three, that is perfectly okay. Name two smells which we can smells actually. So anything which you actually can smell. And if you're not able to come up with the list of two, you can actually think of your favorite fragrance, and you can think about one taste which you have, or it could be a favorite taste. It could be a taste of your favorite food. So you can think about that. It could be the one taste you have right now. So coming back, we can just take a deep, okay. We can just take a deep breath, and we can come back in the space, larger circle. All right. So same question goes, as we were doing this from 5 to 1, what was happening? What was happening in our body? Were we able to concentrate on the sensations? Were we able to concentrate on the things which we were looking at? Were you able to like really come up with the things which were being asked to do. So anything, any reflection which you have after this activity, I would just request everyone and invite everyone to share. Thank you. She says that it helped her come back to the senses. Thank you so much for sharing. So would want to share. So share that it was being mindful. It was there was awareness. Sorry. All right. Never been this mindful of what is happening inside my body. Thank you for sharing that. Helped stay in the present. We both listened and thought about our surrounding. It was equally refreshing, increased the observation, helped us being in the present. And shares that she was self-aware in that moment and also self-observant. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. I think that is the intention of the activity, that we come back to the senses and we're just being there with us. So that was the activity which we focus on. We usually do it with our fourth graders to the sixth graders, where we are just breaking it down for them, so that the attention is, we are not really asking them to just, should we ask the student to say it out loud? Yes, we can. I mean, it totally depends upon the number of students we have in our classroom. If there are like 50 students in our classroom, then it might become a bit chaotic. But if there are like 10 or 5 students or maybe 12 students, then it would work really beautifully into the classroom, and we can just ask them to lower the voices. So we can say that we can just whisper, or maybe we can talk on the volume of 1. So that would be very beautifully done into the classroom. Thank you for asking that question. So this technique actually allows students to go through every sense and help them remember being in the present. So as they are looking at things, as they are feeling something, so that is how this activity works really beautifully into the classroom. I'll also share what are the other ideas, other practices which we do from fourth grade to, there is a screenshot. Yeah. So into the classroom, what we do with 4th to 6th grade is, one is doodling, which we try doing with the students. So doodling means they're like small scribbles on the paper as we are listening to the music. What are some of the things which you feel like drawing? Just draw it out loud. So there is one, we usually give like a blank paper and blank wide chart paper to the students, and they, wherever they feel like drawing, they do it. So that, and they're not talking to one another, they're just drawing, listening to the music. Then there is grounding exercises which happen. There are like 5-minute grounding practices which we try doing with the students. And also then there is mindful eating which happens. So when we say mindful eating, again we are focusing on what we are eating, where of course we can talk, but also it becomes difficult at times to just ground to the rules. But once it comes into the routine, then it becomes easier for the students to just focus on what they're eating, so that they savor every taste which they're eating. Yeah. So these are some of the activities and practices which we do, so that we continue to do mindfulness into the classrooms. These are some of the activities which are like tangible. We can see it, we can observe students doing. So yeah. And with that, keeping the time frame in mind, the next activity which we do with, from like grades 7 to 10 or 7 to 9, that activity is like the complex version of these practices. So what we do is, we engage in body scans, we engage in 10 minutes meditation practices. It also involves drawing. Expressive drawing comes into the picture. There is also mindful walking which happens. So when we say mindful walking, we are walking and we are also observing on how we are walking, we are breathing in and out. So in that moment, how we can be mindful. And sometimes students do it, but we are just reinforcing the behavior a lot of the time, so that it is there with them. So these are some of the practices which we try doing with our grades, from like 1st to 10th grade, 1st to 9th grade. With that, let's just take a step back. I think I have been talking about all the practices. We've also experienced some of the practices. Actually, when we try doing it, when we experience it, it becomes really easy for us to do it with the students. So that was the intention, that we experience it first and then we do it with the students. Right. So we move forward. What I'll do next is, I'll just share some of other ideas of what we do at Apni Shala, so that integration of mindfulness looks. So we'll try doing it with storybooks. So when we do it with storybook, there is a story. I'll just give an example using a storybook. So this is a book about Ruby. So it's Ruby's Worry, which is written by Tom Percival. It's a beautiful book. When we are doing this book, there are a lot of things which we can actually tap on, and we usually use it while emotion expression and externalizing the emotions we are feeling. And the emotion out here is worry and sadness. So we can introduce this, and then we can talk about any other emotion which we are feeling. So as we are reading this book, there is awareness of emotions happening. Okay, so we are getting aware about the emotion which we are feeling. We're also building non-judgmental approach towards that emotion. So it is okay, the worry is coming, it is okay, we know that it is there now, and what are some other ways to just respond to it. And then we are also feeling compassion towards self and others. So these are some storybooks. Yeah, so this is one storybook which we use usually, and this storybook is I've already shared that it is focusing on worry, but also at the same time we can, using this book, we can respond to a, we can do a transition for any other. The next activity which we do, and the metaphor which we use is the red bus metaphor. So this usually means that our mind has lots of thoughts, right? And each thought represents a bus. So say for example, if you want to go to your home or any other destination, you will choose a specific bus number, right? So if you had to like go in number one bus, and that number one bus goes to your house, okay? So you will get into that bus only, right? You will not go into 21 bus number. You won't do that. So our thoughts are also like that. In our mind, there will be like n number of red buses, but we need to get into only that one particular thought which is required for that particular moment. So say for example, in my mind there are like three constant thoughts going on, but and there are three constant red buses going on, but I need to catch that one bus which is leading to me, and which is going to help me be in the present. Yeah, so I'm only going to catch that number one bus which is helping me being in the present. So this is also we try introducing to the students, so we can just, as this becomes like a conditioning and students get into the routine, we just share that we need to get into the correct bus number. We don't have to like jump from one bus to the other. We just have to get into that one bus. So that is another thing which we try doing into the ecosystem, so that students know it and everyone is there with us. The other thing which we try doing is from the facilitators. So facilitators usually use a language which is mindful language. We are not sharing something which induces blame, disrespect to the students. It is usually very mindful and help students see what is the difference between these two. Okay, so when we are being calm at present, so say for example, if I am only very restless and I am only very hazard during all the time, students are going to take it. Students are very observant, they're going to take it. And if I'm going to speak in that particular language, they're going to do it like they're just going to take it as is, right? So the one is stepping into the professional world to just go to the students and some of our knowledge, but at the same front, how we are dealing with some of this personally. As Meenakshi started with her presentation saying that a lot of the work which she did was working on herself, and that is what it requires to be mindful as well. So when we are mindful and we know what we are doing, that is when we can go to the students and share some of our ideas.